What's it like going home 60 years later? Let's find out. Hi, this is Scott from Scott and Tracy Traveling. Welcome to our channel, where our motto is, travel now. It may be later than you think. I occasionally go to Hawaii, but have never made a concerted effort to visit the old neighborhood. So, as my plane approached Seattle, I thought I'd check it out. Seeing this restaurant in SeaTac solidified my decision. As I sat waiting for my next flight, I began making a plan. I believe it's right around a 6-hour flight heading to Honolulu from Seattle. This video is going to be a little different and personal than our normal travel vlog. As we neared Honolulu, I looked down at Waimanalo Beach, where I spent many weekends as a kid. Flying over Honolulu, I started looking for landmarks like Diamond Head there. Surprisingly, I even spot the old neighborhood in Nu'uanu. As usual, the plane flew past the airport before performing a 180 back to land. After arriving, I headed to get some prepared meals for a few days. Marukai is one of my usual stops. They have a lot of Japanese products and local prepared dishes like poke bowls and sushi, along with some hot items. Here are a couple items I bought. It's a pretty good value for Hawaii. The next morning, I start visiting the old neighborhood. From the late 50s to the early 70s, our family lived on Lilia Street in the Nu'uanu area of Honolulu. So, until I was 12, we lived on the second floor of the apartment building behind L&L Drive-In. I'll talk more about the drive-in later. As a kid, I remember running past patterns and playing catch in the parking lot that seemed much larger then. The building next door housed a florist and a drugstore. At the drugstore, I remember buying candy, peachy folders, and even vacuum tubes for our old black and white TV. Anyone remember vacuum tubes? The drive-in looks the same as when I lived here, and my brother and I bought lunches there almost every day during the summers. So can you imagine the shock when I found out a new owner had expanded and franchised this tiny drive-in to over 200 stores in 17 states and Japan? It's unbelievable. I believe the rest of the restaurants are now known as L&L Hawaiian Barbecue. Have you been there? Since I was already there, I had to try it out. I got the mixed plate with curry as a takeout. It looks messy, but it was pretty tasty. On the other side of the drive-in was a grocery store named Ralph's when I was younger, and then it became Jean's. I didn't look inside this store. But Jane's Fountain is still here. It was a diner/soda fountain that was old when I lived here. If you don't know, saimin is the local ramen type of noodles. I don't think I even heard about ramen until I was in high school. The Hoi Tin Chinese restaurant is also still here. I have fond memories of Lilia Bakery on the next block. They have numerous locations now, but until this trip, I thought this was the original location. However, a cousin recently told me that the bakery moved here from the building that housed the drugstore next to the drive-in. I never really cared for the pastries my mom bought here, but loved eating breakfast here on weekends. The counter looks the same, and the thought of eggs and Portuguese sausage, known elsewhere as linguiça, makes me really hungry. I started being a latchkey kid in the 3rd grade. I'm not sure it's even legal anymore to leave an 8-year-old by himself at home. After cleaning the breakfast dishes in the morning and watching cartoons, I would walk the 6 miles in the snow to school. Isn't that the old story? The route kinda looks the same. Here, I'd pass a laundromat, and there was even an open-air pool hall across the street. Then I would walk an overpass above H1 or Hawaii Interstate 1. Think about that one. This is the major freeway through Honolulu, but I do remember riding my bike on that road the weekend before it opened. Finally, I would pass the Lilia Street Branch Public Library, which was adjacent to our elementary school. This overgrown path on the right used to be a sidewalk that connected the street to the school. It's now fenced off. Getting to the school grounds from the other side of the block, I see that about half of the buildings I used as a kid still existed. Several of the old buildings are gone, but the old cafeteria and auditorium still stands. It was old when I went here, and I believe it was around when my mom went here in the 1930s. Across the street from the school is the stream where we used to catch crayfish. The stream is now part of a botanical garden. We'd come here on field trips, and some of us would slide down this waterfall that seemed much larger back then. We used to say that a dragon lived in a cave under the waterfall. Must have been a tiny dragon. In the late 70s, I spent a couple years at Kapiolani Community College. Back then, the college had 2 campuses, one near downtown in portable buildings, and the other here at the old Fort Ruger grounds. However, when I attended here, our classrooms were in old World War I era Army barracks. I believe the open area here is the old fort's parade grounds. This new campus, probably about 40 years old now, is amazing. While in college here, I wrote an article for the school newspaper on this campus and seem to remember that Fort Ruger had once housed a blimp corps during World War I. For those of you who've hiked Diamond Head, this campus is right across the street from the tunnel that enters the crater. Even as a student, I appreciated the view from this campus. After finishing college on the mainland, I returned to Honolulu for 1 year and worked as an assistant manager at Zippy's, a local restaurant chain. Zippy's was open 24 hours, and as a junior manager, I worked a graveyard shift here on Waialae Avenue. I had to try it out since I was here. I ordered a couple items, and the food was just okay. However, the prices were about double from when I worked here. When I'm in Honolulu, I usually visit my mom's grave at the National Cemetery of the Pacific in Punchbowl. No, that's not her grave with the flowers. Anyone my age would probably remember the figure at the big memorial at Punchbowl from the opening scenes of the original Hawaii Five-0. If you're ever at Punchbowl, the viewpoint has a great view of Honolulu. Thank you for indulging me on this trip down memory lane. Regular programming will resume next week. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to our future adventures.